Hi there, it's Chris Hamilton here with Sales Tip a Day, www.salestipaday.com. And what I wanted to show you was 11 LinkedIn profile tips that you can use to beat your competition. Now, why is this important? I want to show you what you're up against in this Calgary marketplace as it relates to people that you're competing against. So when you do a search on LinkedIn, what you're going to find is anywhere between 22,000 and 23,000 people that you potentially are competing against. And that's just the people on LinkedIn. There's a lot of people that aren't on LinkedIn. So I would imagine this is even 50% to double the rate if you were to take a look at it. Now, just to give you an idea, I went into LinkedIn and I looked up financial services, banking, insurance, and investment management. Now, if you break out each of these, what you're going to find is in the financial services world, there's roughly 10,000 people competing against you. In the investment management segment, there's almost 2,000. In the banking segment, there's 5,500 people that are competing against you. And in the insurance area, there's almost 5,000 people competing against you. So here's what you're up against. 22,000 plus people in a financial role in Calgary, and Calgary has a population of 1.5 million people, according to the Calgary Economic Development Council, where a lot of these statistics I've found. So when you take that, literally for every financial person, there's 68 people in Calgary. Now, if you actually look at the demographics between 25 and say 65, which is an identifiable market to be going after, that's only 40 people that you could be going after. Now, the richest population segment that you want to be focusing on is between 55 and 64 years old, and it's a family that has a net worth over $1 million. So typically, this segment has a net worth over $1 million. It's also $670,000 more dollars more than people that are single in that same age bracket. So there's a target demographic you really want to take a look at. In the 55 to 64 age bracket in Calgary, there's 174,000 people, which basically means there's only 8 people in that bracket for every financial person that's based in Calgary. Now, if you were to take a look at the top 20% and the upper middle 20%, which I'll get to in a couple of seconds here, there's only 34,800 people for each one of those segments in that 55 to 64 age bracket. And basically that's 1.6 people for every financial broker that you want to be going after. So the reason why I bring this up is because the fact is you want to hone in on a target demographic that has the most money that can invest with you and who's most likely to invest with you. Now, when we start looking at stuff, there's a bottom 20%, lower middle 20%, middle 20%, upper middle 20%, and an upper 20%. Basically, the bottom, lower middle, and middle I've completely excluded because they don't make enough money that you want to waste your time going after that. What you're looking at is that upper middle and upper 20%. So when we focus on the middle upper 20% of the population, in Canada, they make between $88,000 and $125,000 per year. In Calgary, on average, they're making $129,000 per year. In Canada, their net worth is anywhere between $589,000 and $1.14 million. In Alberta, the average net worth is $557,000. In Calgary, for this bracket, the average is $690,000. So basically, that's the net worth of these individuals. Now, the other thing you need to look at net worth is a lot of the times there's houses that are included in that. So that number is actually a little bit lower depending on the fact that you want to take a house out of that one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the upper 20%. So to me, if I was in the financial world and I was going after people, I would be focusing on the upper 20% and then maybe a little bit on that upper middle 20%. Now here's why. The upper 20% in Canada make $125,000 plus per year. In Calgary, they're making $363,000 on average per year. In Canada, their net worth is $1.14 million plus. In Alberta, the average net worth is 1.3 million, yet in Calgary, their average net worth is 1.85 million. So this is the target demographic that you want to focus in on. Now, how can you find these people? Here's the easiest way to find these people or reach out to these people is leveraging LinkedIn. In the Calgary marketplace on LinkedIn, there's almost 500,000 people on LinkedIn. Now, if you were to look at this for each of the 20% segments, for the top 20 and the middle upper 20, there's 95,000 people in each one of those segments that you could be going after. But if you reach out, you better make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and beating your competition. So this is where I'm going to show you 11 LinkedIn profile tactics that you can use to beat your competition. And I'll tell you what, I've gone through and I've analyzed this all over the place on LinkedIn. And if you start following these tactics, you're going to be miles ahead of 99.9% of the people that you're competing against on LinkedIn. So problem number one is your headline. Your headline shows up underneath your profile. So I've removed pictures and names of people to make sure that I'm not exposing them out if they've done something that I deem to be not wise. And in this case, the headline is a lot of the times people will take their current role and it goes up into their headline. So in this case, this person's a financial advisor at CIBC. Instead of doing that, what you need to be doing is explaining who you serve and what results you get for those people and have a call to action. So for example, a better headline would be helping business owners save more of their income with smart investments. Contact me for more information. Change your headline. Tell people who you serve and what you're doing. The next problem that I look at is there's not a lot of people have a premium account, but it's higher than the average. I'm guesstimating there's probably between 25 and 30% have a premium account on LinkedIn, whereas the average is typically about 18%. Now, why do you want to have a premium account on LinkedIn? First of all, you get 15 times more, up to 15 times more views of your profile when people are searching on LinkedIn. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people that go onto LinkedIn to try to find someone to help them out with certain things. The other thing too is that people will go onto LinkedIn after you've reached out to them to see what your profile looks like. So think about that. You get up to 15 times more views of your profile. You have way more search options available to you with a premium account to find more qualified prospects. You get way better search results. You also get more opportunities brought to you because LinkedIn doesn't limit the amount of people that you can search or look at on their platform. Whereas if you have a free account, they actually limit it to only 100 people per search result. And at some point in time in the month, LinkedIn will cut you off if you've searched over a maximum amount of people. So the other thing too is you have the ability to have prospects be able to contact you on LinkedIn. And last but not least, there is a way using a premium account to get way more sales leads sent to you by LinkedIn compared to a free account. So the other thing, problem number 3, is putting posts up or posting. So I've taken a look at a buddy of mine, Tom's profile, and he's put posts up. But just to give you an idea, when I look at him compared to people he's competing against, is in this case, Michelle and Andrew don't have any posts. So they're not being seen, one, as a thought leader, and two, the neat thing about this is Tom, because he's posting on a regular basis, he is getting his posts put into the search results. So his image is actually double the size. It draws you into that image. So he's getting way more views. Now, the other thing you want to take a look at is if you post once a month or share a piece of content that you find online, 20% of your contacts are going to see it. If you post or share a piece of content you find online 20 times per month or once per working day, 60% of your contacts get to see that. So you get seen as a person who's promoting and educating people, and that's how you get found on LinkedIn. Problem number 4, one of the things that I saw when I was going through a lot of profile views is that people's profiles read like a resume. And you should not have your profile reading like a resume. You need to make it look and shine. You need to make it show people what you do or what you can do for them. So the next thing that pulls in is problem number 5, which is a lack of a summary, or basically your summary sucks. As I was going through a lot of people's profiles, taking a look at this, doing research for this video that I was pulling together, is I noticed that very few people have information, not only in their summary, but also in their experience. They'll put a title in under their experience and the time that they were at that company, put no information as to what they did or how they could help people because of that role. Same thing with a summary. Is by putting very little or nothing in your summary, it says, I have nothing to say and there's no reason to contact me. So in this case, this, as I say, is your time to shine. What you need to do is you need to let prospects know what you do. You need to let them know who you work with. So define your marketplace. Why what you do works for them, what makes you different, what others are saying, such as testimonials or recommendations, and how it works, what you do, how it works for them. And then last but not least is how they can reach out to you with a phone number, an email address, any of your social media handles, so on and so forth. So this is someone's profile I came across when doing the research, and it's pretty darn good compared to everybody else's profile. It basically talks a little bit about him, what he does, and the areas of expertise, and it also shows client testimonials. The only thing he might want to put in here is how to contact him. So, problem number 6, as I said just a second ago, is a lack of a way to contact you. So, in your summary, what I would do is the first line that I would put in there is how someone can phone you or email you. That's what, if you take a look up there where it says summary, my first line is call me at 403-630-1243 or email me at chris@salestipaday.com. Now, there's another section called additional information where you can actually put in advice for contacting Chris or yourself. And same thing. Put in your email address, put in your phone number, put in ways that people can connect or contact with you. So, problem number 7 of the 11 problems is no picture on your profile. So in this case, what you see is this gray head on the left-hand side. This denotes that this person doesn't have a picture. Why is this a problem? 50% of the people that go on LinkedIn will not even look at your profile if you don't have a picture and it's incomplete. So think about this. If someone were trying to find a financial advisor, an investor, someone who sells insurance, anything like that, and they go on and your picture or your profile shows up in the search results, 50% of them won't even look at your profile because the fact is they think that there's nothing there, there's no content in there as well. Problem number 8 of the 11 problems is not having a call to action. So a call to action in your profile, which would be along the lines of call me, reach out to me, get a free consultation, download this white paper, do something. A call to action can increase your desired response by up to 37 times compared to not having a call to action. So tell people what you want them to do. Tell them that you want them to call you at this number, email you here, download this white paper. Give them a reason to do something when it comes to your profile. So for example, in my profile, I've got a couple of things in my summary area which says, connect with me on LinkedIn. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. Here's my blog. Here's Twitter. Here's all this stuff. The other thing that I've got in there is I've also got something that says, hey, do you want 25 must-have sales and marketing tips? Sign up for my newsletter and I give this thing. Check out my presentations videos below. I've got a whole bunch of calls to actions of what I want people to do. So reach out to me, connect with me, sign up for a newsletter, do whatever it is. So make sure you have a call to action. Now, problem number 9, I've alluded to a couple of times in this recording, but it's having minimal information on your profile. So I'll tell you what, when I go through and I start looking at people, so there's 22,000 plus people in Calgary, that when you're looking at their profiles, they have very minimal information. And the problem with that is, one, you don't have a picture. Two, minimal information. 50% of the people that go online or found you via LinkedIn are going to discount you so you don't even get seen. The other thing too is it really shows that you have no social presence. You aren't doing anything. It's just no one's going to engage with you or connect with you or try to do anything with you if you're not promoting yourself with your LinkedIn profile. Here's something that's really interesting is the skills. So there's a segment in LinkedIn where you can list off your skills. And one of the things that I found is that very few people are listing their skills, or if they are, they're putting a minimal amount in. Believe it or not, there's over 40,000 different skills on LinkedIn. And the other thing that you'll find is that by listing skills, you're going to get found 10 times greater than people that don't list skills. Now, here's my recommendation for this. When you're in the skills section, you can start typing stuff in. So, for example, you could put in mutual funds, stocks, whatever, anything that's related to a financial world, and you're going to see recommendations that LinkedIn makes, it puts in here. Now, here's the other thing, is that LinkedIn leverages your skills. If someone puts something in on the search bar, if your skills match up with what they're looking for, you will actually be showing up into their results. And I've done this numerous times when I was looking for specific people on specific terms and I couldn't see it in their profile. And then when I actually searched the page, that definition I was searching on shows up in their skills section. So I would highly recommend you could put up to 50 skills in. I would try to maximize that with the amount of skills that you can that fall within the whole financial world. Now, problem number 11 is, and this is the last one, I look at this as an imperative. You must have this on your profile. So here's the scoop. Ask for recommendations from individuals that you help. And the reason being, this is social proof to show that you know what you are doing. So on the left-hand side, you can see how my recommendations would look like in my profile for connections. On the right-hand side, these are how the recommendations show up in my public profile for people that aren't connected to me. Now, here's how you get people to give you recommendations is what you do is you go into your profile, and beside your profile, there's a little down arrow. Press that down arrow and it'll say get a recommendation or get recommended. Click on that and it'll walk you through a process. Now, part of that process is you reaching out to somebody that you know and asking them to give you a referral. Here's what I would do. I would write my own referral, send it to them, and then say, you can wordsmith this the way you want. And then make sure you also follow up with an email and a phone call if they don't recommend you, to get them to recommend you and tell them that you actually sent them a recommendation request on LinkedIn. Now, the reason why you want people to, you want to write your own recommendations so that people can recommend you is that it doesn't take very much time for them to just simply copy paste and recommend you on LinkedIn. And I'll tell you what, I've got 29 recommendations. I'll bet you easily half of them I wrote myself and asked people to leverage that as a recommendation. Huge social proof, shows people you know what you're doing. Put yourself in the shoes of an investor. If they're looking at someone that they should be investing with, if you've got a ton of recommendations giving you glowing praise compared to someone who has no recommendations, I'm going to bet dollars to donuts they go straight over to you. So I would get recommendations if you can. So once you've gone through all this information, I'll tell you what, that just kind of gets you on your profile. I've got a whole bunch of other tips and tricks that you can use in LinkedIn to find better qualified prospects and beat your competition. So I want you to join me in a webinar. Tell you what, the webinar, the information, the link is down below. You can click on the button and register for my next webinar. And in this webinar, you're going to learn how to find 15 times more sales opportunities compared to the people you're competing against. I'm going to show you also a simple prospecting tactic that's 50 times more effective than cold calling. One of the other things we're going to go over is where to find sales leads, sales opportunities that close at double the normal rate. And in essence, a lot of the stuff that I will show you in this webinar can make you up to 120 times more productive than most of the other people you're competing against. I'm going to show you how to, first of all, identify the prospects that you want to be going after, how to reach out to them, and how to get way more meetings with that target demographic, and how to make more money and put more money in your jeans. All you got to do is click that button down below. And I'll tell you what, here's the other thing. If you end up registering for this, I'm also going to give you access to my LinkedIn profile checklist that will help you attract more sales prospects. And it's a $99 value that I'm going to give away for free. So hopefully you can join us in the webinar. Click on the button down below. And if you want, you can reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com. And you can phone me at 403-630-1243. I help out people like yourself with their LinkedIn profiles and tactics and a whole bunch of different things that will generate way more leads for you. So reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com, or reach me at 403-630-1243.